Good evening, we'll go ahead and start this meeting tonight. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes held from December 15th and January 7th.
I'll make a motion to approve those 2 minutes.
I'll second.
Motion made in second. And we have a hearing tonight on the TIF.
And I have Shauna Mueller from Bernstein Sure. We've all met her in the past, and she's orchestrated the first one, and she's walking us through the application to extend it. And, she's going to talk to us about it tonight.
So it's very nice to be back. I think this is really quite straightforward. Knowing that you all went through this a couple of years ago, the original district was approved in June of 2014 by DECD following the town's public hearing and council approval. And this is the district that is just under 50 acres, and it runs along the Summit natural gas infrastructure, much of it in town, and captures the value of that. And it's funding a variety and has the ability to fund a variety of economic development related activities that the town undertakes, many of which the town would probably undertake anyway. And so it really leverages what is called that tax shift benefit of TIF districts to the town's advantage. And so all this amendment does is extend the district from 10 years to the maximum term of years for any TIF district, which is 30 years. And what I've done is provided a complete amended and restated development program document, which is the form that DECD really likes to see instead of a separate standalone amendment. You just amend what you did before, and that was real easy for us because we were just making the change to that timeline. I think I also provide, I don't know if the town manager provided the red line version of it, but I have that here too, and that just shows you exactly what we changed. Great. So you can see really all we're doing is changing that and then changing some of the references in the documents to the required components under the statute. We have to submit the minutes from this public hearing, a new council order, and those kinds of things. So updated references to those items. The other thing I thought was interesting, and it might be interesting for you all to note, that in 2014, we had projected that in the first year, the TIF would have an increased assessed value of $5.1 million, and that it ended up being higher. It ended up being just over $6 million. And then the second year it went down a little with depreciation, but and we've accounted for that depreciation in the original projections. But just to note, it's always hard to get it exactly right, but it's good to be underestimating instead of overestimating. And I'm here to answer any questions following this public hearing. You'll be asked to vote whether to approve this or not to approve it. If you approve it, we'll gather the materials we need to submit to DECD. And that process will probably take us quite a while because we don't have any priority need to get this approved. We have a few more years left before this district would expire. So I'm thinking late in the year is really when we get that DECD approval, but I won't forget about you. Don't worry.
Any questions from anybody? Dawn?
Could you just refresh us verbally as to what happens as the value of the property increases? Our understanding is that as more and more gas flows through it, there might be an appreciation. And how does the TIF address if it was worth $12 million in 10 years? Are we under any restrictions, or are we, whatever it happens to be, is the total amount that we basically would be putting into the TIF monies?
Yes, the way that the district is set up is that anything that's in the district, any property that's in the district, which is just limited to the Summit natural gas infrastructure, it is captured at 100%. And so whatever the assessed value is, and like you said, that could go up if there's more gas flowing to it based on, and I know that some of these assessing theories are sort of being developed now. But combine that with some depreciation on the infrastructure, it's not completely certain what will happen. But what happens by default under the documents is that whatever that assessed value is, that increased assessed value is, the taxes paid on that will go into your TIF fund. So if that's higher than you anticipated, you'll have more TIF revenue. If it's lower, it'll be less. One thing you can do is if you think you're producing too much, you can do another amendment to reduce the captured value percentage so that you're only capturing 50% and the rest can go to the general fund. And that's something that, I'm sure that you'll be monitoring over the years to make sure it's at the right level and that you're not collecting too much TIF revenue and really getting the best bang for your buck. But you can always make those adjustments later. You can't create value that isn't there, but other than that, you can adjust.
Thank you.
Sean, are any towns, doing TIFs on the residential part of the gas pipelines? We're not, we're just on the transmission line,
For the most part, towns have stuck to, I think partly because that line goes in first, and sometimes those residential lines are not being installed at the same time, so they
Right.
don't know exactly when they'll go in, so it makes it hard to draw the district at that same time. So I think I have not had any of these. Some of them are towns where there is no planned residential expansion anyway, and they're all just the sort of the connection lines. But I think that one thing you can consider doing is, as there are more lines in the town, and you're feeling like the TIF isn't producing as much as you'd like it to, you can expand the boundaries of the district. The problem that you'll face is if you don't do that within a year or so of when that infrastructure goes in, then you lose that opportunity. Because you do have to have that starting value be before that infrastructure was installed, and you only have about a year to do that.
I don't think we have any distribution in town anyway, as far as I know, it's just transmission now, I think.
So if they decide to come back and do that, then that's something to consider, because that would be more infrastructure you could capture and produce more TIF revenue.
Do people tip other types of pipes, like sewer pipes or water pipes, or
Well,
just gas?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time the sewer pipes and the other kinds of pipes are owned by public entities and they aren't paying taxes, so it makes the natural gas infrastructure unique.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's something else. The other thing that's somewhat analogous is CMP lines. So there was a big expansion of not just CMP, but any of the utilities that are expanding the electric grid. They pay property taxes, and so if they're gonna upgrade their lines or increase the assessed value along those lines, that's something towns have captured in TIF districts also. So really anywhere that you see an increase in in assessed value somewhere, that should be an opportunity for you to consider a TIF. The limitations are that you can't have too much residential property in a TIF district, because they want it to be focused on economic development, but other than that restriction, it's pretty much, if you've got more value than you had before, that there's an opportunity for a TIF.
So we need to make a note if they do that substation that they're thinking about,
We have an opportunity.
we have a chance.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Any further questions? None.
I think you have to close the public
Have to
hearing.
close the public hearing.
Okay. Any questions from the audience?
John, Al, nothing?
Okay, so I'm closing the public hearing, and
I'd make a motion that we proceed to extend the timeline of our TIF to 30 years.
Second, John?
I'm sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to point out that because of the statute, we have a long form order that is in front of you to approve. So that's really the motion is to approve that. It's labeled F2 in the
In town council order number, amendment to the natural gas pipeline, that one?
Yes, yep, there's no
and I'm
number on
sending
it.
it right through to sign it right now.
I think that's what Dana moved to approve it.
Yeah, I
There
move
you
that we
go.
accept this.
Okay.
We appreciate your
Second, all in
guidance,
favor?
Thank you.
Jan likes purple ink.
You have a black one on you?
Someday we'll do them all in different colors.
Yes, red.
I will just leave these in case you want extra copies.
Okay.
So you may not-
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll end up getting
I
recycled.
don't
anyway.
anticipate anybody's gonna come along. I'll probably be recycling that paper.
No.
I will keep it.
Okay.
That's too blue to call black.
I'll make sure you have all of that.
And if you wanna hold on to that and just send it along with the
With
rest,
this,
great,
will do.
thank you very much.
Sure.
How's that?
Okay, that's,
Well, at least you weren't driving up last night's meeting.
yes,
10
look
minutes.
at
You
it.
beat it,
Gary
lady.
said half an hour, so this is amazing.
We know we can do better than that.
With these things out.
Very efficient. Very
Thank
nice
you
to
for
see
traveling up here.
Have a good day.
Good night, John.
Move on to the next item, to vote with a new smoking policy. That should be non-smoking policy.
New smoking policy in the town of Oakland. Okay, I received notice from the state that they are actually changing the smoking policy for municipalities. And basically what I've got here is I've got the old one, and how they've changed it is now it includes all properties that are owned by the town can't be smoked on, and any properties that are under the control of the town, like a cemetery or something like that, where we may not own it, but we're maintaining it or something. So, this is per recommendation of the state. We do have a policy that's in effect that was signed by our council in 2011. This is an updated one, and I think you have a copy of that in your packet. You probably have had a chance to look at this. I know that it's gonna impact probably 3 of our employees, and but that's the way it is. You know, it's unfortunate. And if you agree with this, I'd like to get a vote on it and get your signatures. Any questions on it?
What are the areas that will be changed that are going to affect, so, I don't care who the employees are, where are the areas that,
Basically, it's off-town property. So if they're gonna smoke a cigarette, just like at the hospital, they have to step off our property.
right, but you're saying it'll affect some of ours, are there
Well,
areas
we
in the
have-
town that they've been smoking in the past that they,
Sure.
what are those
Yeah,
areas?
the building grounds department, we have one employee who usually steps outside of the garage and has a cigarette in the morning. And we have, fire department, we have another employee who smokes a pipe, but that will impact him. We have a police officer that tends to have a cigarette once in a while, and he'll go someplace to have it, usually out of sight, and they're just gonna have to step off town property.
So previously it was just the buildings,
Previously, it was just the vehicles and buildings, that's correct. And now it's gonna involve all property owned by the town of Oakland.
is that, I think it is, unless things are consistent with the school district.
That's exactly the way the school, that's why there's no smoking on school property. And if an employee wants to have a cigarette, they're gonna have to get in their car and go for a drive. And, but those are the 2 areas that the state's recommending to change it.
How will we handle the 3 employees if they say, well, I need a cigarette, I'm gonna take 5 minutes and go in my car and have a cigarette?
If they get in their car and have a cigarette, they're gonna have to leave property. If they don't, then it's a
Right, but as far
reprimandable
as-
situation.
Are they
Because
gonna be
it's a
allowed to do
policy.
that?
Are they allowed to do it?
Will they be allowed to do that?
Well,
I'm not saying yes they should or no they shouldn't, I'm just curious if we've,
yeah,
I know in
I'm
schools
ready
that
for
was a
that.
big issue.
yeah. I mean, you go by the hospital and you see them across the road
Yeah.
in the park. You know, we're staying outside the road. And that's pretty much where it's gonna go for us.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
How does that paragraph right behind the 5 bullets there?
Yeah, that means that if the 20 feet away from the building, if the property line is closer than 20 feet, they have to be beyond that 20 feet from the window. Smoking all tobacco products is only allowed outdoors at a maximum of 20 feet away from business facility entryway. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I didn't see why we needed the 20 feet, but I guess it's.
Well, this is a policy that I received from the state,
Yeah.
and all I had to do was fill in the town of Oakland in different paragraphs.
And on that last bullet there, all employee-owned vehicles, do we have any that would,
That hasn't changed, that's still the same as it was. Well, if we have an employee who smokes and he's going to a seminar and he takes another employee with him who doesn't, then he's not going to, he's not gonna
No.
take the smoking with him.
smoking doesn't bother me, but some people it bothers a lot now.
Sure.
And it says in here, there's no smoking while they're in the vehicle, but some people, if they get into a vehicle that has been smoked in, they're choked up right off,
Sure.
not because you're smoking them, but because you did before.
We shouldn't have been smoking in vehicles to begin with. I mean, if we got an employee smoking inside of a
No,
vehicle.
I don't mean our vehicles, because
Okay.
that's outlawed, but I mean, if I was gonna go with you and
Sure.
you smoked in your vehicle, but you didn't while I was with you, but you had before, some people that would bother a lot.
Yep.
Problem solved, find your own ride.
Right, I guess that's it. I mean, if we have an employee that's, I can ride in that vehicle.
That was easy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to make arrangements for them to, I can't imagine that would happen. but-
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Because
you
some
know,
people are bothered.
the smokers that we have in town are pretty small.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that number's shrinking all the time. It's, a lot of money to smoke a cigarette now.
Are you gonna have to identify property lines?
Property lines?
Yeah, so
Well-
they'll let off.
Or was that
20
just
feet?
within reason?
Yeah, I think pretty much all of us know where the town property is, and, we can certainly help those smokers. There's just a few of them, and, they're gonna have to step off property.
Mr. Tibbetts from Sydney, you got a question?
Yes, I do. I'm assuming this applies to not just your employees, but also to the public.
Absolutely.
So will this require the town to put up signage on all town properties so the
Well,
public
we don't
knows?
have signage right now, and, but certainly that's something that we probably need to think about.
Just a thought.
Does this cover those electric cigarettes?
Vapor?
Vapors, yeah.
To my knowledge, no.
Even if they're using tobacco as a stimulant?
Well, it's not a tobacco, it's a
Nicotine.
liquid that they
Yeah.
smoke in that, those vapor cigarettes. It doesn't address it. That's a good question, though, Mark. Something that bears looking into.
School property is actually no vapor too.
No vapor also?
Good question, Mark. Further questions? Motion?
I'd make a motion, we accept this, changes to the smoking no smoking policy.
I'll second it, but
John's got a question.
not that it's essential, but are there a few things in there that we would want to make more specific to what
Vapor?
we want? And I guess I'm a little bit, I like to think that if we have some policy like this, the school has a similar one, that they should be the same, maybe not. But I guess I'd like a little time to think about whether we should make some adaptions to this. rather than
And I have no issue with this. I mean, legally, I don't think that we have to adopt this. We have a smoking policy or no smoking policy. This was a recommendation from the state, and I wanted to throw it by you guys so that you could at least discuss it. We don't have to vote on this tonight, because Alan just brought up a really good point, and when you have somebody under arrest at the police department, sometimes the only time you can get them to calm down is to let them smoke a cigarette. So this is gonna put us in a real hard situation when they want that and they're demanding it and they're out of control because of it. So, this bears some thought. I mean, I don't know if, maybe we ought to think about this for a little bit before we really buy into it.
I truthfully, I hate to pull up, one of our town vehicles and see one of our town employees smoking in it. It's not my vehicle, it's not your vehicle, it's all of ours, it's everyone's. And it's really, just, the smell of cigarette smoke inside the vehicle is nasty, and, so maybe we can narrow it down and say, town vehicles are not to be smoked in.
And we have that policy
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, we do,
You
but
know,
it's not being adhered to.
Right, and this is what I've just learned. We have
Right.
some violations on
So,
that.
But like you said, I've been in many situations as a police officer, and the only way you can get that person to
Let them have a cigarette.
just give me 5 seconds to have a cigarette, and then I can relax,
And-
okay? You know?
And that's a tool. And
Oh, yes,
we're gonna
it
be
is.
taking that tool away from us.
Yeah, and that's where common sense enters into it, so
Yeah.
do we,
Yeah.
not use any common sense?
So I would probably recommend at this point to hold off on this, if that's okay with the council. And let me put some more thought into it.
Works for me.
Works?
Should we withdraw a
I'll
motion and
withdraw
a
that
second?
motion.
And do I have a second? Moving on to the next thing.
Thank you for that, Alan.
Next is a vote on municipal bond sale for Scouting and Savings Bank.
Okay, if we have actually voted on that already, Lee Bragg has sent a revised form to be signed. Actually, I have two of them. The proposed vote, you rewrote that, and when we voted it out, I'm sure that you've had a chance to review it. And the other issue is a post-issuance compliance policy. And where we are gonna go with a bond, it's now part of the law that we have this policy. And basically what this helps us prevent is get us into trouble by selling an asset that was purchased for the proceeds of a tax exempt bond before the bond had matured. And basically what that would mean is if we decided to sell the police department before the bond matured, we could get ourselves into trouble, which I don't anticipate that's gonna happen. So, I'm sure you've had a chance to review that. A lot of signatures tonight.
Yep. Don signing off on lesson item number 5 on the agenda tonight is second reading of penalty violating Richards Rip Road and a town farm road with no through trucks.
No response from the general public on this posting. Still reads exactly how we read it the last time. Any questions on that?
I make a motion to accept the second reading on that policy.
Second motion.
Second, all in favor? Next item on the agenda is going down to the manager's report.
As you're aware, I think that you're aware that we received a gift, financial gift from Kevin and Diane Joseph, David Libby, and EJ Fabian for high ballistic vest for our cruisers. And total, it was about $3,000. And this is basically a thank you letter that I drafted to send to each of these people. There's a bunch of them in there.
Oh. Actually,
There's one.
they're all the same one.
Could you just share how that all comes about with those 3 sets of people? Is it
Well,
something that they're doing periodically, or?
No, Kevin and Diane decided that they were gonna go and split some of the proceeds of the sale of the business amongst the communities. And how it all started was they were gonna buy a drone for our police department and for use for search and rescue type situations. But due to the regulations that are involved and the fact that this is quite an intricate piece of machinery, and we have to send somebody off and keep them trained, and there's all kinds of search and seizure issues that are involved in it, we thought that that might not be an appropriate use of that money, so they changed the position. One of the things that we needed was we needed to update our, you don't own the high ballistic vest for high-risk situations that would cover a rifle, and if you end up, because everybody's got a hunting rifle in their house. And So, Kevin and David Libby got together, and they bought 3 of them. EJ found out about it, and he knows that we have 4 cars. He came in and he bought the 4th one, so we have one of these vests, and they actually come with a ballistic helmet with it too, in case you end up rolling into something where you're taking life fly. And so it's certainly an asset, something that we probably couldn't justify buying our own. And so that's how it came about. And that brings us to the social media policy. I can tell you right now, we've gotten a nice response on the Facebook page. A lot of compliments, comments, and all positive. Have you got any questions over this policy? You've had a chance to look it over? Anything on there that concerns you, or you'd like to have you change?
No, that's a good idea.
Trying to keep it updated daily. Today I didn't have the time to put anything on it, but tomorrow we'll get some pictures of the snow around.
Good pictures on there, Kathy, and decorations up on Main Street there.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to do, let the public know
You
what
haven't been able to
we're.
get Peter to put anything in the paper about that, huh?
No, I sent everything to him.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah, he didn't buy into it. I actually talked to him about it too.
All right.
And he said he was gonna get something in there, but it just never happened.
Seems like it'd be good for the merchants, if you'd put a little picture in there, or a story or something.
Yeah, we tried. I can certainly push him again on it, but now we're getting after the fact.
It's
Yeah,
after the
it's getting
fact.
a little late now.
Who was the winner?
What's that?
Who was
The winner was actually Firefly, right on the corner, the
Yeah.
Fawcett building, or the Fassett
Uh-huh.
building. I have one more item on this. We placed our scrap metal out to bid, and I actually put it out to bid to 3 different companies, AIM, Kennebec Scrap Metal, and Clark's in Hollowell. Clark's didn't respond. AIM came in at $33.18 a ton. Kennebec Scrap Metal came in at $40 a ton. Currently, we have AIM up there. Larry Liberty was pretty aggressive. He wants our business, and he certainly sharpened his pencil. So, I would recommend we choose Kennebec Scrap Line. If I could get a vote on that, if that's the way you'd like to go.
They're doing the same, everything for us.
Everything's the same. They're gonna put a dumpster up there, and no charge for transportation. And I've actually got a copy of the letters if you'd like to see them.
No,
I just got them in at 4 o'clock today.
I think we've gone back and forth before, haven't we? 'Cause one
Yeah.
of them tries to
Yeah.
beat the other one the next year, and,
Yeah, and it's gonna be up for, I didn't do this last year, it was something that I missed, and, so, I mean, the prices continuously dropped, so now I'm back into we'll make sure we get it done annually.
I'd make a motion, we go with Kennebec Scrap Line.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Perfect. And the last thing we have is an executive session.
Before we leave, John, anything?
Oh,
Thank you for coming. Alan?
I did wanna ask, who's Revision Energy's car out there? Anybody here? I saw it out there, and I've been
That was
trying,
probably Sean Mueller's.
Yeah.
and I've been trying to talk to you about a potential municipal solar project.
I get your email today, but I haven't had a chance to get back to you on it.
So they would be one of the potential people involved with that.
If there are no further questions, we have to now enter into
Well,
executives.
we're gonna do our own stuff and do that
Sure,
afterwards.
let's do it now. I'll be all done. Fire. Matt?
I'm all set.
The only thing I wanted to mention, one of these days, we should, pick somebody for the Spirit America Award, so.
We're all over it. We have been talking about
I
this.
assumed you had, cause, Bruce been putting out his letters there, so.
Yep, no, we've got 1 nomination, actually, no, we've got 2 nominations. And we're probably gonna have 3 nominations.
It's on board. That's all.
We wanna talk about this too. I don't know if we wanna water this down and have 3 selections, or if we would like to go and.
Some towns will do the whole fire department, or the whole rescue department, or it varies from 1 person to
Okay.
25 to 30 there
I
when they
think
give the
we've got
awards out.
2 really good nominations coming at us, and the 3rd one is kind of murky, so we'll discuss that when
You
we
know,
get more.
some towns will do their whole rescue squad or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place. Whatever town else is.
Can I get you to sign the social media?
Yes, thanks, Jan, forgot about that.
Okay, sign this one?
I've got an
There you go.
original colored paper.